Oh, did you love getting this message from me earlier when you were at work?
Well, yeah, I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I didn't realize it was asking me to review it.
Oh, what, are we gonna watch this movie just for shits and giggles?
Well, I thought, like, maybe you were like, oh, let's watch it and then do a review for it later, or I'll have Dave watch it with us. And
oh, I did ask you. So here's the deal with this movie. This is a movie called One Nation Under God. I have never heard of this film until 5 hours ago when I was tagged on the Children of the Toast group on over on Facebook, advertising a test screening for this movie. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I saw the poster, as soon as I saw the cast, and as soon as I saw the plot of this film, I knew, yes, sign me up for this. I didn't know if I would actually get a screening for this, because I've seen this company before, like screening something. They were actually offering test screenings for God's Not Dead 3 when it came out, and I signed up for that and didn't get one. This one, however, I guess maybe not enough, like, I guess they didn't sell out on screening, on people signing up for, on people signing up for screenings for this movie, so I very quickly and very easily got a screening for this, and that was when I texted you, because you were at work, and I was like, baby, so I just got this, like, advanced screening of this new Kevin Sorbo religious movie that's out. Do you want to watch this shit tonight? Because the amount of time that you have to watch it is like it's like a window for it. You only have a certain amount of time to watch the movie. And I also wrote to Dave earlier. I was like, Dave, this is short notice. I know. Are you doing anything tonight? Here's the movie that I got. He was busy tonight.
Yeah, Well, I just thought maybe, it was for shits and giggles. I really didn't think you were going to review it. For some reason, I don't know why they didn't register.
Why would I watch this movie just, like, on its own? I mean...
I just didn't register it, I guess. I just thought, like, maybe, like, I don't know. You just were like,
you need to see what's going on in real America, honey. I will sit down. I will show you One Nation Under God so you can know what's what in the fucking world.
And I'm sorry I'm not Dave. Like, I know he's normally the one that gets outraged over this kind of stuff and more entertaining, and I'm sorry I'm not him. You got me. I'm sorry.
Now, I remember when you said that to me on our wedding night.
I'm sorry I'm not Dave.
I'm sorry I'm not Dave, you bastard.
Put this mask on.
Put this mask on, honey.
Like a recording of Dave.
Kirk Cameron Saving Christmas on the TV.
Oh God, Dave! Yes, Dave.
Yes! Oh my God!
That's why you called me Dave.
Well, that, and I also really wanted Wendy's. Okay, so One Nation Under God. It actually really works out that you watch this movie, because you were at God's Not Dead 3, and you hadn't really seen
I haven't immersed myself into this whole
Well, I mean, you've seen, like, so you saw, like, Let There Be Light. I mean, you've seen a couple just because you happened to be there when I was watching some for the
Sometimes
Snob.
I turn around, though, and take a nap.
Right. So, but you saw God's Not Dead 3, which was bad, but better than the other two movies.
It was just boring, but I liked John Corbett.
Well, yeah, I mean...
That was the only thing I really liked about it, because he was so entertaining.
John Corbett's insanely fucking likable, and he was good in that movie. It's a bad movie, but it was better than the first two. This movie that we just watched is from, like... is like a God's Not Dead 3 of an alternate universe, which is way more like the first two God's Not Dead movies. This is like, this might as well be called God's Not Dead 3 Part 2, or God's Not Dead 3, The Real God's Not Dead 3.
Yeah, this movie, I was expecting to be a little bit more, like, outraged about it, I guess, but I honestly checked out. You had, like, a nail clipper in hand, and you were giving yourself... I wasn't, like, being gross, like...
You were just sitting there, like, giving yourself a manicure, pedicure, which one's fingers? You're a woman, you should know that.
I did both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, manicure and pedicure.
So, you were just sitting there doing that. This movie is... We'll get into the plot and everything about this movie in a second. I mean, the movie is... just you could play bad religious movie bingo with this film. Like, I wasn't sitting there outraged by this movie either, because it just simply is everything bad about God's not dead, let there be light, things like that. Just that again. And now the plot of this movie, I mean, right away, it sets up the tone you're about to get for this film. Right away, it sets up what audience this movie's geared towards, just simply by the fact that
Make America Great Again, yo!
The Make America Great Again rap. Yes, in the opening you can always tell this kind of movie because the opening shot is like an establishing shot of trees and roads and city, with the opening credit just on like the bottom left of the screen, usually in the same kind of font, and bad Christian music or bad Christian rap starts playing. It does that in this movie too, only the chorus is, "Let's make America great again!"
No, it was a rap. It wasn't like this goofy thing that you just did. It was...
But that was the chorus.
It was like, yeah, I guess so. It was like, stop trying to be hip.
This movie's hip with the kids, honey.
It was so...
It's about teenagers.
The soundtrack sucked.
What about no, this movie clearly has people in touch with youth because of the one girl who was sitting there who says to the other girl in the class, ugh, hashtag first world problems.
Written by a 6-year-old man.
Oh, I checked. The person who wrote and directed this movie, she was in God's Not Dead.
Oh, she was?
Yeah. I think she plays like Josh Wheaton's mom or something. I can't remember, but she's in that, and she's been in a few other... I haven't seen anything else that she directed, but so...
God, those songs suck.
Oh yeah, they're throughout all of this movie. And the main character is this 14-year-old kid named David Gutierrez, who is enrolled at a new high school, and this movie takes place in the same universe as God's Not Dead and all those other movies, in that it's an alternate universe where Christians are being very, very persecuted in the United States of America. It is a victim fetishing movie. It is a persecution complex movie. It totally is. So when the kid is in classroom, they all stand up to give the Pledge of Allegiance. And when it gets to under God in the Pledge of Allegiance, everyone in class goes silent. One nation, indivisible, and so, but the kid, the main kid, it's his first day of school, and he's got a crucifix around him, so you know he's Christian. He says, under God. And he doesn't silence himself when he says under God. So there might as well have been like a waiter walking in the background who just dropped his dishes when he said this. Oh my, he said it. Oh my God. Everyone stops and looks at him like he just said fuck in the middle of class. He instantly gets bullied after this. The bully in school, who is also the principal's son. Morris. Yeah. He's the principal's son, and the principal, by the way, is Principal Casper Van Dien. Yeah. So
that just screams villain.
Oh, the bully goes up to him after class and says, "What was that God shit, bro? You don't do that in this school. You talk about God in this school, prepare to be crucified." And
then a crowd instantly forms with people filming it. Like, it's like this huge deal.
Yeah.
I was like, what's this guy's damage? What is his issue? Yeah. Why is he like...
You keep that shit out of this school, you and your ignorant faith. And then he finds the underground like debate club with teacher Kevin Sorbo, and Kevin Sorbo is like cool hip Christian teacher in this, which really feels like, it does feel like if he didn't die at the end of God's Not Dead and then became like a Christian teacher. I keep wanting to say professor in this because it constantly feels like they're at a college and not a high school.
Because there's like 3 separate buildings, and there's also every single classroom looks like a community college classroom and setting, and also they have their laptops up, and maybe it's just a really fancy school, but I don't really know any high school that is like that.
I mean, that's why I asked you. I go like, I mean, maybe this is filmed at a high school. I wanted to ask you because I was like, does this feel like college to you too? Because I largely asked you because you graduated much more recent than I did. I graduated in 2001, so I'm like, I don't know, maybe this looks like a lot of schools nowadays. I don't fucking know. But I was like, whether it's the classrooms, even the layout of the building, everything about it did feel like it was a college, and even Kevin Sorbo there, like, just making it feel like he is just his professor from God's Not Dead, only now he's religious. So they start... Bully is in Kevin Sorbo's debate club as well.
And he's also the son of the principal.
Oh, yeah, he's the son of Principal Casper Van Dien.
Did you bring that up?
I did, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Casper Van Dien in this movie, he's basically in this because I think Ted McGinley was busy. He even kind of looks like him a little bit in this film. And, okay, so they are... Kevin Sorbo on his dry erase board has "in blank we trust," and he's asking the students, who do you trust in? And so some people are saying, like, doctors, scientists, lawyers, and then they gotta get in this dig, so the one girl says, journalists, and Kevin Sorbo's like, oh, you were serious? Like, oh, blow me. Dude, you had Sean Hannity in your last fucking movie. Blow me with this fucking dishonest media bullshit.
And also politicians, and then he brings up...
Okay.
Yeah.
So the movie also has a huge political... subplot. I don't know if it's because both plots kind of have equal footing. One is really no more subplot than the other. So there is a subplot where there is this primary going on, a presidential primary going on with presidential candidate Antonio Sabato Jr. And Kevin Sorbo is showing video of candidates where they're kind of just vaguely saying the same thing about, like, climate change and other stuff, not really giving their opinion one way or the other. And I'm watching this going like, what fucking backwards-ass universe is this? Look...
I guess it's kind of true, though. They normally just want to give people what they want to hear.
I cannot think of a single presidential election in my lifetime where I did not clearly know the candidates' beliefs on climate change, on abortion.
Yeah. Well, they were they were senators. They weren't.
No, but they were running for president.
Oh, I think it meant like. Oh, okay.
They're in the movie. They're running for. See, you should have paid.
No,
you weren't paying enough
I
attention
thought you meant
to the
like.
movie.
I thought you thought like maybe they're both presidents. I was like, no.
Oh no, they're running for
Yeah,
president. They're running for president, and they're like the movie's trying to say that. The whole thing about, well, look, both of them are exactly the same. They're just giving really vague shit either way. And yes, there have been plenty of politicians who have flip-flop on certain issues, and maybe in some cases they can be a little more vague than in others, but by and large, you know what they say about climate change. Again, rights like abortion and other rights. Like, the examples they were using in this movie was just crap. Was just pure crap. And
also, he was talking about, like, no one should... I don't know if this was, like, something that had to do with Trump, but they were like, no one running for president should have a filter. So I didn't know if that was... But, I mean, the theme song is Make America Great Again. So I was like... I guess they're just trying to bring in this Trump audience, but I wasn't sure if, like, maybe there's some other ties to it or some sort of thing that was... supporting his presidency, but I'm sure so.
This movie has Antonio Sabato Jr. say shit like, they do say shit like that, like, you know, you need to be unfiltered, you need to say your beliefs and things like that, and then it goes on to Antonio Sabato Jr. saying, like, we need to have integrity, and then it starts playing that Make America Great Again song in a montage, which features Antonio Sabato Jr. eating from a taco truck. It cuts back to that a couple of different times, right there in between him kissing a baby on the forehead, which only made me think of the crazy Martin Sheen politician from the Dead Zone. But again, this is a universe in which Antonio Sabato Jr.'s character runs into controversy because the kid who wants the term under God brought back in school asks Antonio Sabato Jr., in a speech he's given to their class, he asks him, how do you feel about God and religion and having God back in schools? And then Antonio Sabato Jr. gives a vague answer about it, which he then regrets and then proceeds to give his belief on God and his own religion. And this turns into this really controversial issue where the person he's running against is using that against him and saying, so what's your belief now, pastor? And saying shit like really condescending to him. Like, oh, come on, give me a fucking break. There's not a candidate on either side that doesn't make God an issue. Whether they're genuine or not, they make God an issue. They bring up faith. They bring up their religion. A lot of times, it's because they have to.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, when we were watching, I was like, this is why atheists will probably not win an election for a very, 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 very long time. Which is upsetting because, honestly, I mean, atheists are a minority. It feels like, I don't know, like, it kind of sucks that you can't just say you're an atheist without being judged. Whereas if you say you're a Christian, like, it's, like, totally acceptable. Which is fine. Anyone should believe in anything they want.
Uh-huh.
I'm an atheist, but I don't shove that in anyone's face.
You'll bully this kid in the school like this. Where's your God now, bro?
Yeah, I would never, ever, ever do that. Even if someone is being really pushy about their beliefs, I'm never gonna be like, well, like science and stuff. Like, I'm not gonna do that like this kid does. I would never do that. That's not respectful. Like, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, just don't be like a dickhead. But this movie is the kind of movie that's trying to say that we live in a fictitious universe where running as a Christian politician will hurt you. Like, this is the... Like, really, like, in the world we live in now, try running for president as an atheist and see how fucking far you get. It's not gonna be very far. Like, look, in this movie, yeah, he announces that he's religious, he's a Christian, he has a belief in God and everything. And fine, like, that would not make any kind of ripple in the news. People who, it doesn't say what...
I guess it's local news, though. So.
It doesn't say what party they're affiliated with in this movie, but let's say he's running as a Democrat, or let's say he's running as a Republican, and he says he's very, very religious, has a strong belief in God. Okay, sure, his base is not going to have a problem with that. Let's say in this universe, or in reality, whatever, that he is a Democrat and he starts talking about his faith and religion, which Democratic candidates do. Let's say he does that. Okay, you might have some people in the base who may not be religious and could really care less about God or anything, or the candidate's faith, but that's not going to hurt them. They are not going to, someone who is originally going to vote for that Democratic politician is not suddenly going to vote for the Republican because the Democrat said, oh yeah, I believe in God.
As long as someone's faith doesn't interfere with politics or anything, I really don't give a shit who I elect, or, like, who I vote for. I'm not gonna give a shit. Just as long as they don't force their beliefs onto my personal life, or what I can do with my body, or anything, like, that is politics, I really don't care. And like, believe in whatever you want. I really don't give a shit.
I completely agree. I absolutely agree with that. Like, I'm not the most religious person in the world, but I don't, at the end of the day, just don't be a dickhead. Just don't be a dickhead, and don't try to force it like a fucking douchebag. In this movie, when they get into the debate at the end about whether or not God should be part of the Pledge of Allegiance in school or on money or anything like that. First of all, it doesn't make a fucking difference in this movie because it's fucking school debate, so it's not actually really nothing. Any side could win, and like nothing would really be of substance by the end of this. So, but they're arguing less about that because it's already been settled whether you can say it in the Pledge of Allegiance or not. So in this movie, they're not really debating that. They're debating whether... They seem to be really debating whether religion should be taught in schools. Whether religion should be...
recognized, I guess.
They're arguing... They're almost arguing for a theocracy, at least, by the end of this film, and less that it should be part of The Pledge of Allegiance?
No, they don't really bring up the Pledge of Allegiance. Like, the kid, I don't know his name, the bad kid.
Yeah, Casper Van Dien's son.
The atheist kid. He brings up, like, well, Stephen Hawking brings up there's, is an atheist, and there's science and facts, and this is hardly, like, a debate, because the other kid just says, like, I believe in faith.
The other kid uses buzzwords, and that's
like,
what...
That's not an argument at all.
Oh,
this is just an opinion. I mean, I guess opinion is still an argument, but...
Well, sure.
It's just, he was just bringing up, like, well, faith, God, I have motivation because I believe in God. That was his argument. That's hard. Then how would you win an argument with that? I mean, it does, because people will fall for that shit. Because
the kid is really good at grandstanding in this movie. He says, he actually says in the debate, like, the reason this other kid is a dick is because he lacks faith. And then he stands, and when he gives his final word, he stands up and he goes, you can take God out of the Pledge of Allegiance off of money. You can take God out of our schools. And then he rips his cross off and he goes, but at the end of the day, it won't matter because God will always be in here.
Yeah.
And I'm watching it going, oh, okay, man, yeah, try taking God off of money and out of the Pledge of Allegiance and see what happens. A war would fucking happen.
What also pissed me off was that he was saying, like, well, basically what he was saying is, if you don't believe in God, you have no motivation, you have no reason to live, is basically what he was saying. And I was like, well, thanks. I guess I guess I should just go kill myself now.
That's just all of these movies. Like,
I was like, my faith is my faith and my motivation is my family, my striving for education, everything. That's my motivation. I don't need God to help me believe in myself.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I can do that shit on my own and also have motivation with, my family, education. Of course. I can be my husband.
Well, yeah, I can be a good person because I'm not a sociopath. Like, I don't. Right. But I mean, this is that's the kind of thing that I've just seen in so many of these movies, whether it's God's Not Dead or Let There Be Light or any of that, where it's like, you need religion to be a good person, and if it's not there, then, well, you're just a giant fucking dickhead. Yeah. I mean, this is a movie in which, this is my favorite fucking scene in this movie. My favorite scene in this movie is right before the debate between the kid and Casper Van Dien's son. Again, Casper Van Dien is the principal. Casper Van Dien, evil Casper Van Dien, goes up to the kid right before the debate and writes him a check. Goes, look, I know you and your family are struggling right now. You could probably use a little bit of money. And he writes him a check like a dumbass, as if that's not gonna bite him in the ass later on. This check that he wrote, that he fucking signs his name on, to bribe the kid to lose this debate that does not matter.
It's like, well, no, what matters is that there's a college tuition thing, or...
What college tuition was involved with this?
I guess or not tuition, scholarship, sorry.
Who, the son?
Whoever won the debate, there was a scholarship.
Oh, okay.
But I think it was also, because in the very beginning, I forget his name every single time.
Casper Van Dien.
Casper, whatever.
Starship Troopers, man.
He, at the very beginning, is kind of like, for some reason, very adamant about leaving God out of the Pledge of Allegiance. And he's like, I knew you were screaming under God during the Pledge of Allegiance. And it's like, no, he wasn't screaming it.
Oh, yeah,
it was like, I, myself, would have said the same thing, because that's what people say during the Pledge of Allegiance, because he was new to this school, the main kid. He was new to the school. How else is he supposed to know? Mm-hmm. Like, that you're not supposed to say under God. I would have said it. Like, I mean, I personally wouldn't like it in there, but it doesn't disturb my educational experience. Like, it doesn't like make me feel like I can't learn because someone said under God. I don't give a shit.
Oh, I mean, this is like God's Club territory, where like the teacher has a moment of silence for his dead wife, and then evil atheist girl in the class like goes ugh and leaves, and later on they throw a Molotov cocktail in his fucking house. Like, that's the kind of world that this movie is in. That teacher would have been evil to it. Principal Casper Van Dien would have been evil towards this kid regardless of any kind of like fucking scholarship that is hinged on this one petty ass debate. And I love that when he writes the kid the check, again, my favorite scene in the movie, he writes the kid a check to bribe him, and then he steals his sandwich.
Oh yeah, he's like, not
he
that
steals
bad.
his sandwich, and he says to him, he goes, I know your mom is struggling. If you win this debate, I will make it my mission to make sure you and your mom go nowhere in life. Like, he straight up says, he goes, if you win this debate, I will have you removed from this school. Like, holy shit, man!
Like, damn, this guy's like serious.
And so, of course, he gets fired later on because the fucking check proves what he did, and also the kid was secretly record him. So yeah, he should be fired because he's an idiot.
Yeah. Trying to think of the other. There's like a bunch of scenes I could remember, but there was like a few scenes where I'd be like, "What the fuck?" And then there'd be 15 minutes of nothing going on. I was like, let's make America great again. It was just really boring.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, though, it's actually a very, very hopeful film. Because the movie features a very multiracial cast. Who have all come together for this one cause to save under God from our schools.
God.
This issue that's totally real and wasn't settled in like 2004, I think.
Yeah.
Look, yes, this movie is one of the worst. It is one of, if not the worst movie I've seen so far this year.
Really?
But, well, here's the thing. Like, yeah, it probably is, but like I was saying at the beginning of this movie, at the beginning of this review, you could easily play bad religious movie bingo with this film, because it's all in this, from how it's shot, to the stupid soundtrack, to the evil atheist, to like straw man debating and shit like that. Like, and even get Kevin Sorbo, TV actors, things like that. Like, all of that is in this movie. There's nothing about this movie that, for better or worse, stands itself apart from God's Not Dead, or Let There Be Light, or God's Club. It just is another one of these movies. If this were the only thing that I'd seen that's like that, that would be one thing, because I could maybe get a little more... I don't even know if I would even get upset about this movie, because these movies are all comedies to me anyway. Like, if I was reviewing this movie with Dave, I don't know how passionately mad he would get at this, because, again, we have now seen this movie several fucking times. Yeah. It's just the same thing again. Like, yeah, it's totally one of the worst movies I've seen this year, but it's one of the worst movies I've seen this year for the same reasons that a lot of other movies are. It just simply... It just is what it is. It's acted not very good.
Kevin Sorbo and the mom was fun.
Yeah, like, for the most part, the acting's bad, but it's the kind of bad acting, again, you've seen in this kind of movie. It's shot like this kind of movie. The soundtrack sucks like this kind of movie. The message is bad. It's a persecution complex movie. It's just, again, all of that is just there in this movie. But, yeah, yes, Kevin Sorbo is good in it, because Kevin Sorbo's good in all of these movies. Yeah, he's good in this movie, too, but, I mean, he's a very charismatic actor. Like, Kevin Sorbo could have done this part in his fucking sleep, and have been fine.
Probably did.
And he probably... Antonio Sabato Jr. sure as fuck did this movie in his sleep. And Casper Van Dien was being fun, over-the-top, evil atheist fucking principal. He was probably having a good time in this movie.
I don't know a single atheist that is like that.
Well, no, neither do I, but, like, it looked like Casper Van Dien was having fun in the role, though.
Yeah,
Look, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, that... Oh, God, that...
Keep your god out of my school, you fuck.
Oh, I can see Mars, I think.
Oh, I see you found the shit that I put in the pipe earlier.
No, I think I read something about... Sorry, anyways. I read something about, like, how Mars is closer to the Earth this year, but maybe...
I saw... Yeah, no, you're right. That is.
Okay, I'm not crazy.
I see stars. No, the mom has a good scene where she's crying about, like, they're behind in bills and shit like that, but... It sucks because while the mom is, like, trying to act in this scene, they're playing the shitty-ass soundtrack over her.
God.
She sure has a lot of bills! Dumb movie. I'm glad I didn't have to leave it to go anywhere to go see this. And then they asked me to take a survey when it was over. I wrote down, best fucking comedy of the year! Because we were watching a screener of it, they had, like, my email address, like, watermarked into the copy we were watching, so I could keep reminding myself, I'm watching this for the site, I'm watching this for the site, I'm watching this for the site.
Yeah, it was just really boring, and I got pretty tired because I was expecting it just to be, like, on in the background, because I thought Dave was coming.
I'm sorry, honey.
And I was like, well, I'll just hang out and laugh, and it's like, well, I guess I actually have to pay attention.
You really, with these kind of movies, you only have about half.
But I haven't seen as many as you have, so I don't know as many of the tropes as you do. I know the tropes, but I'm not like you said, Pure Flix Bingo or something.
The movie really made me want to do a sequel to Jesus Bro, where the Rickhead runs for president of the United States.
That'd be really funny. Yeah, I was just kind of, I was just really bored. I really just wanted to go to sleep, and I was like, when it was done, you were like, oh no, it's too bright outside to review this, and I was like, I really
we reviewed it in like 20 minutes. We finished.
I know, it wasn't long, but I was just like, man, I really just want to chill.
No, you're chilling right now. You're talking God, looking at Mars.
Looking at Mars?
Yeah, looking at Mars right there. Like, it's all super chill.
Okay, John Corbett. I want to see what those girls are up to. Hell yeah, I'll do a third one.
Carrie, what are you doing here in Abu Dhabi?
Hell yeah, I want to do a third one. I want to see what those girls are up to.
Do another Sex and the City 3? Hell yeah.
Chris Noth is like, God, just let this die already.
Alright, well, this was...
I know
what the fuck was the name of this movie? One Nation Under God, I think is what this was called.
Yeah. Sorry, I need to know when to stop, like, talking like we do normally when we're on camera.
That's pretty much what this show is, just talking normally.
Yeah, but it's unrelated, so...
Oh, well, that also happens all the time in these videos.
Anyways,
yeah, alright, so I hope I get more screenings like this. Oh, yeah, I'm glad I signed up for this one. If I get more shit like this, oh boy, this is gonna make up for Movie Pass going away.
Yeah, just watch it for shits and giggles, I guess.
There's funnier ones you could watch. God's Club is funnier than this. Let There Be Light is funnier than this. Or you could just watch Jesus Bro.
Yeah.
No, watch a few of these movies, then watch Jesus Bro. It'll be the payoff. Alright, everyone. See ya. Thanks for watching.